Much closer than you. Let's hit it.
What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout live after dark from Arizona. Just had a full day at Camelback Ranch. Talked to a ton of players. Talked to Dave Roberts. It was picture day. So much going on here. The excitement is off the charts. We finally have a game tomorrow. The Dodgers opener in Peoria against the San Diego Padres. We're going to talk about that. Really, the big story there is Gavin Lux will make his Cactus League debut almost a year to the day where he went out with that injury where he tore his ACL and his LCR. But first of all, my man, Mr. Noah Cameras. If you don't know, now you know, Mr. Noah Cameras. Go follow him at Noah Cameras. Noah, how are you enjoying Dodgers spring training so far, my guy?
I mean, what a day this has been. We saw Shohei Ohtani take live BP. We saw Mookie Betts take live BP. We saw Freddie Freeman take live BP. We saw James Outman, Gavin Lux. We saw Manuel Margot hit a home run in live BP. I mean, this was such an exciting day here at Camelback Ranch. We heard from Doc. We had a Shohei scrum. It was great hearing from him, getting an update on his recovery. Doug over here had some very awesome interviews with like 7 players today. We've already dropped the Will Smith one. We got tons of more content coming to you on the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. It's been an incredible. We've been here for about 48 hours. It's been incredible so far.
Yeah, you know what we saw today too, Noah? We saw Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah.
We also saw him walk through that Dodgers clubhouse holding his javelins.
Those were
And
cool.
just a little plug here. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel, the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel in the game. And if you want to be eligible for our latest upgrade, our latest giveaway, that's a Yoshinobu Yamamoto number 18 jersey.
You look good in it today.
You look really good in it. You look fantastic. All you need to do, subscribe to the channel and comment Yamamania down below. But you'll know we'll kind of get to today's stuff, today's takeaways. We talked to Doc, too. We asked him about Teoscar Hernandez, his spot in the lineup. But let's kind of go back to the GM meetings.
Yeah.
Brandon Gomes, Dave Roberts, they both spoke. Also, we talked to some insiders there. Some very interesting things to say about Dylan Cease. Talked to an insider about Dylan Cease, and what he told me was that leading up to the trade for Tyler Glasnow, the Dodgers were heavily involved with Dylan Cease and possibly making a move for Cease. They end up going with Glasnow, and it kind of makes me think, look, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, just see how Cease plays out when he's ultimately going to get traded. The same insider told me that the Yankees are a team that could end up trading for him as well. We could look back and say that was a very big butterfly effect too. You went with Glasnow over Cease. I personally like the move, especially when we consider that Cease is a Boras client, and you were unlikely to get an extension done. You extended Tyler Glasnow, but some very interesting information about some of these trade rumors during this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, Cease has been kind of the biggest name that's been going on since last trade deadline in terms of he's going to get moved. You know, the White Sox were struggling. He doesn't get moved last deadline. Now he's the big name heading into this offseason. Doesn't get moved this offseason, at least at this point. And kind of talking to some of those insiders, a lot of them said probably going to be a mid-season move, maybe a deadline move. It doesn't sound like he's going to be moved. I mean, Chris Getz, the GM, was there. I didn't personally speak to him, but the vibe was kind of like Dylan Cease is going to be on the team as the ace. But yeah, the Tyler Glasnow move, I mean, you said it. The fact that they traded for Glasnow, the big thing was the extension. They immediately extended him. The trade was, kind of relying on the fact that they would extend him. They get that extension, 5 years. He's going to be with the Dodgers until 2029. I mean, he's going to be a huge piece of the Dodgers rotation until 2029. So they made the right move for them. They made the right move they knew they could have made. And think about it this way. Dylan Cease hasn't been moved yet. That asking price is high. I mean, Ryan Pepio, Johnny DeLuca, 2 good players. They would needed a lot more to go get Cease. They didn't have to do that. They got their guys. They were able to kind of kick off this amazing offseason. So they made the right move for them. And but the butterfly effect of Cease, when he said Yankees, I said, interesting. The Yankees need a starting pitcher. There have been a lot of kind of links with Snell. Could it be Cease? They'd have to give up a lot for him. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, when you're a team like the Yankees, the Braves, teams like that involved for Cease, that's when you start to say, okay, Andrew Friedman in this organization, yes, they'll go out there and they'll make big moves, but they don't want to overpay. They don't want to gut their farm system for a guy in Dylan Cease who, really, let's just be frank about it, yes, when he's on, he is elite, but he's had one wire-to-wire season where he has been an ace-level pitcher? Is he more the guy we saw a couple years ago, or is he closer to the guy we saw last season? I think it's somewhere in between. Tyler Glasnow feels like a better fit for this organization. One, he wants to be a Dodger. He loves being a Dodger.
Anybody I've ever seen.
Really, I mean, this guy, he starts glowing when you talk about just the Dodger script across the chest, the Dodger blue, just growing up loving Clayton Kershaw. Dylan Cease would be a 2-year rental, a hired gun, someone that's represented by Scott Boras, that from a personality standpoint, yeah, he's definitely one of the better pitchers in baseball when he's right. I think Tyler Glasnow, looking back, look, at least in February, it feels like it was the right move. And also, another little nugget we got was about Kenley Jansen. And
Who? I haven't heard that name this often.
Kenley, look, both the insiders I spoke to not only said that he's probably going to. They told me that he could be had, is what they told me.
Yeah.
He could be had at the right price. And look, the big holdup for Kenley and any team that's interested in him is $16 million. He's in the final year of his contract. How much of that would the Red Sox be willing to absorb to pay down in hopes for them of getting a better prospect package in return? But both these insiders also told me that a reunion makes sense. And I think that, look, you're an insider, you cover a ton of different teams. Me personally, I just still, like I said, it's like reheating McDonald's French fries. Everything tastes the same. Yes, Kenley Jansen, the cutter from a velocity standpoint, is high as it's been since 2014. He's throwing at 78% clip. He still's a really, really good closer, 29 of 33 in his saves converted. But still, the rumor won't go away.
No, I mean, Kenley Jansen, I mean, you've said it best many times off. You know, he was great. 2021 was a great kind of finish for him. There's no need to reheat those McDonald's French fries, as you put it. You know,
Really?
Evan Phillips in that
Johnny Rockets French fries.
Johnny Rockets French fries. You got to be careful about their shakes, but
We'll talk about that.
but
That'll be our off-the-rails segment.
Yeah, Evan Phillips, you know, in the closer role, Doc doesn't want to say he's the closer. I mean, he's going to be what's called a lion's share of the closer opportunities. But then you also have someone like Blake Trinan coming back from injury. You have someone like Daniel Hudson coming back from injury. This guy, I don't know if you know, he closed out a World Series before. So, I mean, Daniel Hudson has the ability to close. Blake Trinan has the ability to close. Dodgers have options. Maybe even Bruce Gratterall at some point. So I think they're really set in the bullpen. I think for a time with someone like Emmanuel Clase, with years of team control, cheaper contract, I think that could be something that, but again, that would take a lot more. So I think the Dodgers are fine if someone like Clase sort of fell into their lap at some point. If they kind of saw that deal working, I think they'd go for someone like him. Kenley, at his age, where he is in his career, I don't think there's a point of taking on that money. And I don't know. It doesn't make much sense.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, the way it would, to make it make sense, it would be, can the Red Sox pay down some of that $16 million? Can you get him for a bargain price? And are you trading for him for the regular season when he can eat saves and he can take some innings off of either the rotation or the bullpen, have some continuity, have some stability, and then by the time the postseason rolls around, it's a pure meritocracy. If he's pitching right, if he's pitching like we saw in 2021, then you give him a role. But for me, talked about this a lot. I'm just letting you guys know that in insider circles in Major League Baseball, it's still around. And I want to get to some of your comments down below. Very excited for the season. Go Dodgers. Good evening, guys. Justin Lamas. Yeah, it's been a wild day. We've been at Dodgers camp all day, talking to players, talking to coaches, managers. It's been a very interesting day at Camelback Ranch. And yeah, I mean, we had to give you guys the live stream. I don't care how late it is. A little Dodgers Dugout Live after dark. We got Michael Seg over on YouTube. Very excited for the season. Go Dodgers. Let's go Dodgers. We got Bing Lee says Yamamoto. Ryan King, no better way to end the day than some Dodgers Nation. Yes, that's a fire take. Cease will start the season in Chicago. That's from Justin Lamas. Yeah, that's what I was told too. That it's more likely he's going to start the season in Chicago, and he's going to be that key piece at the deadline. And look, if I'm a Dodger fan out there, I think that it's going to be a very interesting couple of months. The way you assess some of these young pitchers, some of these guys that are still emerging. How does Yamamoto transition to MLB? How does Tyler Glasnow look? When do you get Walker Buehler back? How does Bob Miller look in his second year? But I do think by the time the trade deadline rolls around, it would not shock me at all for a franchise that's been decimated by injuries, especially the starting rotation, if they were going to be in the market for a pitcher. And if Dylan Cease is that guy, and at that point you're talking about a year and a half left of team control, maybe he is. Then also maybe there's some other guys that start to emerge. I also asked this insider about Jesus Luzardo, and what he said about Luzardo was, it would take an extremely, extremely high offer, a Godfather offer to the Marlins to be able to acquire him because he's elite, he's young, he has 3 years of team control. So that's another name that it's really a unrealistic trade idea at this point. Obviously, they're not even in the market for an elite starter right now. So I think the way it works out, it would make a ton of sense. Now, a couple big takeaways from today, and we'll start to get into those. And keep dropping your comments down below. What are your big takeaways from spring training? And I think let's just kind of start with the obvious one. And we can talk about this ad nauseum for days. But this spring training, you were here last year.
Yep.
And last year, lots of buzz around this team, right? The talk was Freddie and Mookie still, right? But it was about, okay, the young guys emerging. Maybe a little bit of a reset year. Even year before that, when you had Trey, a lot of excitement. None of that compares at all whatsoever to the electricity, the atmosphere that you see with this year's team. Not just Ohtani, not just Yamamoto, but Teoscar Hernandez. You guys saw Teoscar Hernandez on the Dodgers social. He was fantastic,
So awesome.
teaching Ohtani Spanish, messing with Austin Barnes, messing with Yamamoto. But, I mean, it's palpable, right, Noah?
I mean, you walk in, and first of all, last year, there are some fans trickling in. I mean, obviously, Dodgers always have a lot of fans. It's not as crazy. This year, you walk in at, we got there, today was 9:45, it was a little late for picture day. Fans everywhere. I mean, place packed with fans to the brim. You look here, there's a swarm of fans. You look here, there's a swarm of fans. Then Ohtani kind of walks out for live BP. You kind of feel the air shift. Ohtani runs off the field for live BP, screams. I mean, just screams when he walks by. I mean, the energy is just absolutely insane. Yeah, in the clubhouse, I mean, you kind of feel like the players feel it too. I mean, you spoke to some players who were like, yeah, I've kind of never felt anything like this. It doesn't really feel real when you look around. You walk into the clubhouse and you see Ohtani, Yamamoto, Betts, Freeman. I mean, these are future Hall of Famers who are all kind of sharing a clubhouse wall. I mean, it's special. It's different, and it's not just us who feel. I mean, everyone there feels. I mean, the media. There's 100 media members there for Shohei Ohtani scrum in the clubhouse. Like, you don't see something like that. You just don't.
You don't see something like that, and I think you brought up a great point in that these guys don't have to say these things. We're not even talking about the big all-star players. We're talking about some of the non-roster invites. We're talking about some of the younger players. They say, this doesn't feel real. This is a super team. And I think today was the first day, Noah, where I went from feeling like a baseball reporter to a TMZ employee. Because literally we're chasing down Ohtani to try to get anything we can after his live BP, just going into the locker room. You have people running. Not like it's an athlete, like it is the Beatles, Taylor Swift, Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson rolled into one. And if you guys have been to spring training, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I met a lot of you guys today, which I thought was really cool. Really shout out to you guys. We got Bill Sales. Hello, D-Mac. Hey, what's up, my Dodgers family out there? We got Brian Gax. What up, Brian Gax? But there's just, and look, yes, it's great. It's great for baseball, right, that you have a player. And Bob Nightingale told us yesterday that super teams are great for baseball. Just look at the New York Yankees of the late 90s and early 2000s. But I think more importantly for this team, let's say let's just kind of throw this out there, a little thought exercise. Let's say that Guggenheim takes over from Frank McCourt, right? In that first year you get Ohtani, it's like, oh, cool, great. It's new ownership, new Ohtani. But I think it's more impactful now because they've had so much success. You reached the mountaintop in 2020, but it starts to get stale at some point when you're winning to that extent. Look, this organization doesn't even feel internally like they've won enough.
They call it a failure.
They call it a failure, right? But so to get Ohtani at this stage, it is perfect timing.
Oh, it is. I mean, it almost felt like, I mean, you kind of, last offseason after they lose to the Padres, you kind of think, okay, it's going to take a lot to kind of get the fans rejuvenated again after losing that series. And, the Padres slayed the Dragons. Like, now it's kind of like, how does Dodger fans get excited? Then next year, they have a really good year. Even with the youth movement, win 100 games. Then they get swept by the Diamondbacks. You go into the offseason saying, how on earth are Andrew Friedman and co. going to get Dodger fans to get excited about this season? I mean, that's back-to-back 100-win seasons. The year before was 111, and you don't even make it past the NLDS. Like, you need to do something to get people excited. Ohtani, people are excited. Glasnow, people are more excited. Yamamoto, people can't be more excited. I mean, like, I was speaking to some of the Japanese media today, and they were saying, like, yeah, Ohtani's one thing. There are 2 Japanese superstars on this team. I mean, this is next level. I mean, Yamamoto is arguably the best pitcher ever come out of Japan. Ohtani's probably the best player to ever come out of Japan. And they're playing on the same team at the same time. And now they're at the same Camelback Ranch spring training. I mean, that is like, it is absurd, the level of talent and the level of just worldwide, just the reach that the Dodgers are getting right now.
Yeah, that's how we kind of started here on the show. Yamamania is not just a little buzz phrase, of course, you're trying to throw out there. It's that this is someone that he has the potential to be a phenomenon because of his age, because of his ridiculous splitty, his forkball that is literally going to be the best splitter in baseball as soon as he toes the slab. But to your point, Tyler Glasnow also fits that mold of, okay, we're getting the local guy too. He almost is like the reason why we love Belly, right? And those he's not a homegrown guy, but he feels like the local dude, right? He feels like the local Santa Clarita, right?
A Dodger fan, loves Clayton Kershaw, loves Sean Green. I mean, I honestly think there's not going to be a single player on that team who's more excited for opening day at Dodger Stadium March 28th than Tyler Glasnow. I think he's going to be by far the most excited player on that team.
He even said that Tyler Glasnow said that you can literally basically get as many tickets as you want.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's going to have to change numbers and cut some people off. He's going to have 20, 30 people at each game.
I think opening day is going to have like 100 people who want to come to that game. I mean, just think about he said that his parents were more excited than him when he was traded to the Dodgers. And we saw how excited he was. So I don't even want to imagine how excited his parents were. They probably threw a surprise party for him or something.
Absolutely.
When he got traded to the Dodgers. So, I mean, he's going to be excited. And, obviously Ohtani, Dave Roberts, we got something going on over here. Dave Roberts said to you on Tuesday at the GM meetings, he said that, because you asked him kind of like, what have you seen about Ohtani interacting with his teammates? And he looked Doug in the eyes. And he said, this is, I don't want to misphrase it, but he pretty much said, people have told me this is the happiest that they've seen Ohtani. He doesn't smile or laugh as much as he did now. And Ohtani was known for having a great personality on the Angels. Like, it's not a new thing from Dodgers' personality. But if he's now laughing and smiling more than he ever has, I mean, that's a pretty good sign. Sounds like someone who's excited to play for the Dodgers.
100%. And I think that Dave wouldn't just throw that out there lightly. So basically, just kind of rewind. I asked Dave yesterday, I asked him about, it does feel like a week ago. I said that, look, man, we've seen the BPs. We've seen what he can do as a player, but how is he immersing himself, embracing his new teammates? And he literally said that he has been next level.
He said his level of engagement with myself, his teammates, has been next level. And I've heard from a lot of people that they haven't seen him laugh or smile so much.
Yeah, and Angels fans are big mad. Angel fans are big mad, saying, "Oh, this and that." Like, no, look, you know what? I would smile too if I signed a $700 million contract. I get to stay in my Newport Beach mansion. I get to keep all my endorsements, and then I join a team that signs my fellow countrymen Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Mookie, Freddie, and look, for all the attention he's getting now, it's great. The second he goes back to Southern California, he's going to be a big deal, but we know superstars can exist there. Yeah, okay,
no, it's not crazy for superstars.
Exactly.
LeBron James currently lives in Southern California, and he's doing just fine for himself.
The second most famous athlete, LeBron James in Los Angeles, lives there. But
who's first?
Ohtani, Shohei.
Well, I sound like I like
or Miguel Vargas.
I was going to say it sounds like you have some joke.
Miguel Vargas. There. But no, look, I think other things from today too. So we asked Doc about Teoscar Hernandez, and Teoscar is someone who. We asked him about, okay, how do you assess him as a player? And he talked about the power. He talked about how he just needs to be a good hitter first. But he also talked about him being a teammate.
He's a great teammate.
A great teammate. And the fact that Dodgers Social puts the social media account on their picture day in Teoscar Hernandez's hands, that tells you everything you know about his personality, about how that he resonates with his teammates, the fun side of them, okay? This team is vibing. This team is having fun just going through this process of getting to know each other. And I think with Teoscar Hernandez, I think the big thing for him is he knows you bat him fourth, fifth, sixth. He's going to rake. And I asked Doc, I said, where do you envision Teoscar in this lineup? Because I want to see him as my cleanup hitter.
Yeah, me too.
So where he was majority of last season. And yes, it was a down year for him in Seattle because of ballpark factors, just down year in general. But with Teoscar Hernandez, he said he's going to be in the middle of the lineup. And yes, there is the conversation, we'll talk about this right now, is, look, you add a Shohei Ohtani, right? But you lose a JD Martinez.
Yeah.
And obviously JD didn't play any defense, but 33 home runs, over 103 RBIs,
900 ops.
900 OPS, and someone had an all-star season, right? And yes, you could say, all right, yes, maybe if Betts and Freeman don't have career years like they did last year, and Ohtani is right on where he was, maybe look at the production in the net, you say, okay, it's not a big increase, but then you factor in Teoscar Hernandez, and that's what takes you over the top. A James Outman in the second year, can he continue to build on that momentum? A Gavin Lux as your second leadoff hitter, batting in the 8th or ninth hole, when he had a 129 weighted runs created plus, I think he's going to score 100-plus runs. And then a Chris Taylor was better, a Max Muncy, who was looking lean and mean. So I still think this offense, maybe they won't score 900 runs, but this is an offense that's going to have a much better chance of avoiding a dry spell in the NLDS.
Yeah, I mean, just to that point, yeah, I mean, maybe Ohtani's, in terms of offensive production, definitely an upgrade over JT. Not a big one considering the year JD had. But yeah, Teoscar Hernandez, let's just say for the sake of the argument, he's replacing David Peralta. Because David Peralta appeared in 133 games last year. So that's going to be Teoscar's appearing in those games. David Peralta hit 259, 7 home runs, 55 RBIs, and he had a .675 OPS. Teoscar last year, in a down year, mind you, this is a down year for Teoscar, 26 home runs, 93 RBIs, 741 OPS. He's just a few years removed from a 32 home run, 116 RBI season with an .870 OPS. That was in Toronto before he went to Seattle last year and kind of struggled in that ballpark. And he's gonna all he's gonna have is run scoring opportunities. I mean, let's just say 4, 5, or 6 in the lineup. He's hitting behind that big three of Mookie, Freddie, Shohei, and then if it's Muncy ahead of him, it's Will Smith ahead of him. He's gonna have opportunity to drive in runs. And yeah, you're replacing David Peralta in that lineup with a .675 OPS with an all-star slugger in the middle of the order. I mean, that is next level production.
Yeah, and you look at Peralta, who after the injury, he didn't even hit a home run. Right?
Yeah,
he was devoid of power. He was sapped of his power. And you talk about Teoscar Hernandez. Here's my take on Teoscar Hernandez. He's going to be your favorite Dodger's favorite Dodger.
He's my favorite Dodger.
It's your favorite Dodger? You're going to throw it out there?
Something about
I'm going to get you a Teo jersey.
It's that smile.
Yeah, and you say All-Star, right? You got MVP votes in 2019. MVP votes in 2020. Like what Brandon Gomes said a few months ago after the signing, he says he can hit high velocity in the zone. He crushes high velocity in the zone, and he's not susceptible to any one pitch. He can go out there and tag heat, and that's what plays up in the postseason. Look at the power numbers, too. From 2020 on, a 133 weighted runs created plus. Last 3 seasons, a 121 rated runs created plus with 28 bombs and 31 doubles. So just imagine, like you said,
that's a down year.
Production,
that's a down year.
You replace that with close to 30 bombs and 31 doubles. This is a guy who can slug. He also hits the ball hard. 90th percentile hard hit rate, 13.8 barrel rate, 80th percentile. So this is someone that, yeah, you look at the 108 weighted runs created plus last season, he still was above average. And the left field position for the Dodgers, they were 20th in the league, 21th in all Major League Baseball. They were below average. So
it was David Peralta and Chris Taylor, and neither of them were really having a great year.
They weren't. Look, last 3 seasons, he's hit .317 against lefties. They got their lefty masher that still can rake against righties as well. He's right there with Mookie Betts as one of the best hitters against lefties in the last 4 or 5 seasons. So this is someone that I can't stress this enough. Like I said to Doc, I mean, most teams, this would be their splash off-season signing, right? But for the Dodgers, he's behind Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Glass, and all these guys they brought in. But for them to pick up a sign like that towards the end, it just shows you this team is just so all in on this year's team. You can't really stress that enough.
And 2 more things on Teoscar. First of all, like we said, I mean, the personality, you just see how much fun he's having. And
can't put a price on that.
You can't put a price on that. And, you see how he's kind of opening up Ohtani to this team. I mean, first of all, he and Ohtani had that moment at the 2021 All-Star game where they FaceTime someone, and I think Teoscar was FaceTiming a friend, and you could see that they already kind of liked each other. Then Ohtani texted Teoscar after Teoscar joined the team, and now you see on photo day he's next to Ohtani. He's putting his chin on his shoulder. I mean, he's kind of opening up Ohtani, letting him kind of be himself in this clubhouse, which is 1 huge, and 2, kind of maybe not the biggest point in the world. He's into another contract here. I mean, this was a 1-year deal he signed to hopefully kind of reset his market. When he spoke to reporters, when he spoke to us after he signed, he kind of made it clear that he was not very happy with the way his market was looking, and he didn't want to sign a 1-year deal. He didn't want to sign this contract, but he was very happy to come to the Dodgers, come to a team like this. But this is a contract year for him now. And if he wants to go get that 3-4 multi-year deal that he was looking for this offseason, he could have a really good year for the Dodgers in the middle of that order.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this is a 1-year business trip for him.
Yep.
And where have we seen? Oh, JD Martinez, literally last year.
Although he hasn't really made his money yet.
He hasn't made his money yet, but he's a little older, too.
Yeah, no,
Teoscar is younger.
Yeah.
I think there's more of a potential to sign a 4 or 5 year deal. And then coming off this deal where you got over $23 million, got some deferred money in there as well. But still, he has every incentive in the world to rake for the Dodgers. And I think for Teoscar, you mentioned his intangibles, the fun side of him, right? Last couple of seasons, right? Hanser Alberto's the fun guy. Kike Hernandez, he's brought back to be the fun guy. Look, I love Kike Hernandez. I love the banana. Do you think it was a time for him to split a couple years ago? He comes back. For as good as he was still a below-average bat. He was a 95 OPS plus. How about this? Maybe for once, the fun guy can also be an all-star.
I mean,
can also be an elite player.
It'd be
right?
awesome for the fun guy to be someone who deserves to be in the lineup.
Exactly. Yeah.
To be there,
yeah.
Not just,
we don't need a mascot.
the Dodgers definitely don't need one of their bench players to be pitching in blowouts. I mean, again, Hanser was fun. It's great to have that. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, for Teoscar to be that guy and also be in the lineup 150 plus games and also hit 30 plus home runs, also drive in 100 plus runs. If he has the year that JD had last year, mixed with his age, mixed with him playing defense, he's going to play left and right, Doc said. He's going to get a massive, maybe 4 or 5 year contract worth well up in the maybe $100 million range.
And what you're going to see is you're going to see another contender go out and sign him because they're going to say, wait a minute, when he was with the Blue Jays, with Bichette and Guerrero, he rates, right? And that is kind of the big key for him. You put him in a lineup with protection, he's going to see the results. So that's
I can't wait to see him.
Me too.
You
I
are
really can't.
hyping me up, Teoscar.
I'm telling you, this is a guy who's going to hit 30 bombs. He's going to make the All-Star team. Now,
I think he's going to.
Let's get into some comments, though. Here we got.
I got him up here.
Right, let's roll.
Roll.
Audio is finally fixed.
Hey,
we've had a good audio day.
This has been a great audio.
This has been a really good audio day.
This is one of our better audio days. All right, let's see what some of these comments here. Beerus Sama says 2024 NL All-Star squad going to consist of 75% Dodger players. I mean, we can do some math here. There's probably going to be 10 Dodgers in the All-Star game next year, and they're all going to be deserving of it. So I like that too. I don't know.
I mean, the potential, just look at the guys who are on this team that have been All-Stars, right? And you look at the pitching side. I think, Buehler has All-Star potential to come back late. Might not make the team, but there's no reason why Yamamoto on Glass now. Bobby Miller has an outside chance. And if he picks up where he left off last season, he could be an All-Star. Will Smith made his first All-Star team last year. Max Muncy, we've seen front load some home runs in recent years.
He can do it.
Mookie, Freddie.
Hey, Chris Taylor's been an All-Star.
Yeah, and Mookie and Freddie, let's be honest, they don't even have to have great.
Mookie and Freddie need to be good and make the All-Star
They
team.
got the name.
Shohei Ohtani can be and make an All-Star
team.
Yeah. I feel like we could already say Ohtani's an All-Star.
Yeah.
Like, we could just kind of lock that one in. Like,
use Sharpie.
Just put in your vote.
Use a Sharpie.
Shohei Ohtani's an All-Star. But I feel comfortable. I mean, could knock on wood barring injuries. Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are All-Stars. I feel very comfortable locking those votes in right now. That's already 3 All-Stars for the Dodgers, and we haven't even touched the rotation.
So I'm telling you, man, if they want to spice it up, we've seen, and this is going to sound like some serious Dodgers homerism.
I'm excited for this.
But
I think I know where you're going with it.
The Dodgers versus the best team in that AL. The AL All-Stars versus the Dodgers.
The Dodgers versus the MLB All-Stars. Give me Ronald Acuna on the other side.
Ronald Acuna Jr.
Give me
Matt Olson. Give me
Matt
Lindor.
Olson.
Give me the rest of the gang.
Give me everyone. Give me Trey Turner. Give me Bryce Harper. I think I still might take the Dodgers team. Maybe not on the pitching side with all the aces in the league, but hey, on that hitting side, I think a Dodgers lineup could stack up at least against an All-Star lineup.
Absolutely, and of course we had the picture day today too. A lot of talk out there about those uniforms. There was a great picture of Ohtani and Yamamoto right next to each other.
Awesome picture.
This guy's like $1 billion. I mean, I saw $1 billion in that picture. There were people saying the pants looked a little see-through. Like, I will say this, I'm going to talk to the players, I'm going to talk to Doc about the uniforms. As much hate as I've seen for these uniforms, it still is Dodger blue. It isn't as not wedding gown white as I feared, but a little bit of a disappointment. I'm not going to lie. A little bit of disappointment to see a little bit smaller numbers of perforate numbers and that, but we're going to get to this one. You got some comments?
I'm going to get some comments really quick. We got Joe Torres in the stream, said, ironing clothes while listening to the nation. Can I get a fire take? First of all, really, really topical to be ironing clothes.
Fire take.
Ironing clothes while we're talking about the uniforms is very, very topical.
Perfect.
We got Max Coon said, what up, D-Mac? Shout from 213. We're not in the 213 right now. We're in whatever the Arizona zip code is. I'm not sure what it is, but we're out there right now. We'll get to this comment after. It's going to come to you. Los Dodgers World Series champ said James Outman going to have a great sophomore season, baby. Yeah, Doug's going to talk to him tomorrow. He's going to have some good stuff. Mark said Buenos Dias Fanaticos. Yeah, looks like Mark saw the video of Teoscar and Shohei having a lot of fun.
I like he's like Fanatic.
Yeah, he's like Fanaticos.
He popped his jersey Fanaticos.
He was like fans.
Buenos Dias Fanaticos.
We got a lot. This is a fun one. D-Mac's #1 fan said, we should have a live stream and watch the Korea games as a community. You know who won't be with the community because he's going to be there. I mean,
we're going to be in Korea, guys. Hey, when I say you guys, we're going together, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you guys all the best coverage that you need to see, some behind-the-scenes stuff, so definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, next time we're going to get into, we talked to Will Smith today, and this
was a good conversation.
Will is just, look, man, he's straightforward, man. He's no BS, which I appreciate. He's no fluff, and all this guy wants to do is go out there and ball and play baseball and do it at a high level. And last year was a really a breakthrough season as far as making the All-Star team. I know some people feel like, okay, I mean, he should have made it before, and he's had better years offensively.
Yeah, 2022 was a better offensive year than last year.
It absolutely was. Of course, look, he was in 75% of the games, right, at the catcher's spot. I mean, he was banged up, rib injury, concussion, and I think that he learned. It's almost like when a pitcher can go out there and be effective when he doesn't have their best stuff. I think Will Smith kind of learned last season, look, man, you just got to be productive. You got to do your best, even if you're going to fall through those slumps. But kind of the most important part of the conversation was we talked to him about an extension. And I asked him, have you had extension talks, any discussions with the Dodgers? And it was a quick no. No?
It was just like, no.
Polite.
It was very polite. It was like very calm.
Wasn't mad at the Dodgers.
It was just like, no.
No, he hasn't. What he did say was, I love playing LA. I love being a Dodger.
I love that quote.
He used the L word, right?
Yeah.
And
it's a strong word.
It's a strong word. I think, look, a couple of things about this extension. The Dodgers, they are rife with catcher's talent. Yeah. We talked to Diego Cartaya. You got Dalton Rushing, Hunter Fiducia. Of course, is someone that can provide depth for someone. Tyrone Lorenzo. It's like some people think he's the cream of the crop, right? That he's going to be that guy. But they're prospects. Yeah. They're not proven commodities. They're not a top 3 catcher. Look, I mean, top 2, not 2 potentially. When you consider game calling, how he's improved defensively, what he can do consistently at the plate. And I'm almost kind of priming myself up for, is he the next Belly? Is he the next Siegs? Is he that next homegrown Dodger that they're going to let potentially a Walker Buehler, right? He has 2 more years of team control. Is he going to be that guy they let walk? Well, look, I don't see a path to an extension just because that's not what this organization has done. That's what they have shown they're not going to do. I will say this, though, that you have Yamamoto and Ohtani locked up, right? And I'm trying to think of ways that the organization will go about this and say, okay, maybe we do kind of break our own rules a little bit and sign to an extension. If Ohtani and Yamamoto like throwing to this guy, if they like throwing this guy, and Ohtani goes, hey, I like throwing to this guy. Yamamoto says the same thing. We're not talking $325 million. We're not talking about $700 million. We're talking about $100 million. Around that mark, you might be able to get a deal done. I think it makes all the sense in the world, and I hope they do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just made a great point. You know, the Dodgers aren't in a rush to extend. Yeah, I mean, if they were the Braves, they would have extended him 2 years ago on like an 8-year, like $20 million contract, and it would have turned into a great deal. That's not what the Dodgers do. That's not what they need to do. But yeah, they have a full year now for Smith and Yamamoto to get acclimated. Then next year, if they want to enter that offseason and kind of see where it goes, they have a full year of Ohtani and Smith to get acclimated. If we look at Yamamoto's numbers when Smith's behind the plate, and they're really good, better than when he's other people. If we look at Ohtani's pitching numbers at some point, and they're really good or better when Smith is behind the plate, and they feel comfortable with him, with his game calling, with all that kind of things, it makes all the sense in the world to give him that extension. And to your prospect point, like you said, we love Diego Cartaya here, but just kind of look where he fell in the ranking in terms of last year to now where he is this year. I mean, with prospects, you truly never know. This guy was the Dodgers' #1 prospect. Yep. He's not there anymore. He has tons of talent. He's still young. He can still get there. But things can change very quickly for prospects. And with Will Smith, you have arguably the best catcher in baseball, definitely the best hitting catcher in baseball, and you have the proven commodity. He's only 29 years old this March. It's one of those things where you don't want to let a good thing go. And again, catcher is a position where offense is almost secondary, and you're getting bonus plus offense with him. So it's not something you want to give up on. But yeah, of course, a lot of that has to do with the prospects. And if Rushing takes a jump, Cartaya takes a jump, Lorenzo takes a jump next year, I mean, they'll feel a little better about potentially letting Smith walk. But I think you made the best point, which is Yamamoto and Ohtani.
No, on the money right there is that, look, we almost lose sight of the fact that he's such a great hitting catcher. The reality is he's just a great hitter that also happens to catch,
which is
and
not
is
usually
improved.
an offensive position.
Usually doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
It's usually say, oh, wow, he's around league average, but he can get it done.
He hits 215 out of the catcher spot with 8 home runs. Sweet, we'll take
there
that
are
production.
there are 6 men on the planet that are above average catchers when it comes to hitting, right? He's one of them. I'm just going to throw this out there. Yes, of course, catchers do they age gracefully, right? Are they able to? It's a physically demanding position, and we know that the wear and tear is big time. But did you see Will Smith today? I just kind of watched the video we dropped.
Yeah.
A couple people was talking about he looked swole.
His arms were huge.
His arms were huge. He looked massive. He looked massive. Now I want to say this. I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm going to put myself on the spot.
Okay, phew.
Because if I had to decide between an extension for Walker Buehler or Will Smith, I think I would take Will Smith because of all that catching talent. You can go out there and flip it to get an ace level pitcher the next 2 or 3 years. And does Walker Buehler have 4 or 5 ace level years in him? That's just me.
I mean, it definitely depends what happens, as he comes back this year from the Tommy John. I mean, obviously, we wish the best to Walker. I mean, there's nothing more we want to see than Walker Buehler return to his ways. But yeah, in terms of where the Dodgers are right now, you got Ohtani in the rotation, hopefully for the next 9 years after this year. You got Yamamoto in the rotation for the next 12 years. He has some opt-outs. He's not going anywhere as long as things continue to stay well. You have Glass now in the rotation for the next 5 years. And then you have this young crop of talent, starting with Bobby Miller. Then you have Emmett Sheehan. These guys aren't free agents for a long time. And then you go to the next level. When we were talking to someone today, we were talking to Diego Cartaya, and you kind of asked him a question. This is going to drop soon. I'm going to give a little teaser on this one. You said, who are some of the young pitchers that Dodger fans need to know? The first name that comes out of his mouth was River Ryan, and he almost made a wow face. You guys watch out for River Ryan. This guy's going to be special. And we've heard that a lot. For those of you who don't know, River Ryan was the Matt Beatty trade, which we actually talked to, I think it was AJ Preller about at the GM meetings. We asked him to drop it on DodgersNation.com soon about that trade. But, I mean, there's so much talent pitching-wise. And, yeah, they have talent catching-wise also. But I'm with you. I mean, Will Smith might be a more important piece long-term because of the embarrassment of pitchers that they have in the coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, I mean, River Ryan. I mean, you can see Ricky Vanasco, right? I mean,
yeah, he was high on. He was wait till you see Ricky Vanasco. And we're like, Ricky Vanasco.
I mean, eyes lit up.
This guy's going to be that good for the Dodgers?
Are you Ricky Vanasco's agent?
Yeah, I mean, he must be trying to get him a new contract.
But also, too, we just know here, too, I mean, just kind of add your point, is this organization, look what they did this offseason, they know how to acquire starting pitching. They know how to develop starting pitching. I think that whether it be via trade, whether it be free agency, Roki Sasaki is someone who could be a Dodger on a minor league contract.
As soon as
right?
2025.
Exactly. So, I love Walker Buehler too. I want him to have success. I want Walker Buehler to get a bag. I love
100%.
butane. I love butane. I
100%.
think they've done a great thing for him in the way that they're kind of slow playing him into the season. But, yeah, I mean, Will Smith is someone who, you look at Sean Murphy, look at some of these guys out there that have gotten extensions. And I think that, too, he's someone that, like he told us, he's always in the present, always in the day-to-day kind of focus. A lot of catchers, they might be thinking man, look, you just gave it all this money. I'm an all-star at this point. At least have a discussion about it.
Yeah, at least bring it up.
Right? At least address it.
We're getting close. I mean, it's one more year of arbitration. Fortunately, they didn't have any issues. They settled at $855 million pretty quickly. So there were no issues about going to a case and having all that. But next year, that's only going to go up. And at some point, I think Will would love to know. I mean, he said, I love it here. I think at some point he'd love to know if there's going to be a little stability for the next 6, 7, 8 years of his life with his family, with his daughter, correctly? If I'm saying that, with his daughter.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a conversation that could have been had, but also I think it's fair for them to wait. But hopefully next offseason they at least start having those conversations, because I think it's fair to Will to have those conversations. And again, by next year, you'll kind of know more about where your catching prospects are.
For sure. And I see you guys, too, on the Will Smith interview I dropped earlier. You said D-McAlay and Will Smith in the same room.
Yeah,
this one says technologies. Someone said, it was Mitchell Hopkins says, technology these days is so crazy. I really believe that Will Smith is interviewing himself. You guys saying it's about AI, nice CGI effect, having D-Mac and Will Smith in the same room, 2 Spider-Men pointing at each other. Look, I hope that this debunks the rumors, the myths that we're the same guy, okay? Look.
Let me just say this. D-Mac and I went to the gym last night. I would love to see an arm wrestling match between Will Smith and D-McAlay, because the forearms on these two guys, I mean, if you guys think their faces look at these forearms. I mean, these guys would have quite the arm wrestling match.
He would destroy me in arm wrestle, but I'd get him in a thumb war. Yeah, I got that strong. I got my video game thumbs throughout so many years. But now, just kind of getting back to Ohtani a little bit, I think what a lot of people want to know is, when are they going to see Ohtani compete in a game? And Dave Roberts has said that he's not going to play on Thursday. He's over against the Padres, and that it's about the elbow surgery and returning from that. And we've heard this number, 50 at bats and this and that. Just kind of what's your take on how they're using Ohtani? I think it's a lot of a collaborative thing with Ohtani and how well he knows his body, his trainers, and the staff as well.
Yeah, it's very clear this is Ohtani's ideas first, and then collaborating with the, I'd say, dozens of smart people in this Dodgers organization who know how to deal with this. Also, Ohtani's doctor, Dr. Neil Elatrashi, also the Dodgers team doctor. I mean, there's a lot of smart people that are kind of having these discussions, but I think a lot of it is definitely them saying, Ohtani, what feels comfortable for you? And yeah, Ohtani's the one who came up with that $50 $50. 50 minimum at bats that he wants to hit. He's already had at least 5 that we know of with his live BP a few days ago, live BP today. But he also said some of the cage work would also count. So for all we know, he's at 40. At 10 at bats, 40 away. But yeah, I think the Dodgers are going to kind of let him decide when he wants to get in the game. If I had to kind of guess, which is hard to guess because it's truly you never know. I don't think we're going to see him through this weekend. I think maybe next week we'll probably see him in the Cactus League game. Maybe a couple, getting 2, 3 at bats maybe in a game, just trying to get in the feel for it. But he took 2 at bats today. I think he saw 7 pitches. It was either a walk or strikeout. Not really sure what happened with the Daniel Hudson one. And then first pitch, hits a ground ball to second. Doug called it a base hit. I called it a ground out. Could have gone either way. But
that was a biased score there.
He's a biased scorer.
That was a biased score.
But yeah, right. Either way, I would say I think we're going to see him next week in a Cactus League game, barring no setbacks. And today he was kind of asked, are you ahead of schedule? Because Dave Roberts said that we were a little surprised that he was surprised with how quickly Ohtani's progressing. He said, no, not ahead of schedule. I'm right on schedule. I'm exactly where I want to be. He's very honest with everything like that. He's very
honest and forthright, but he is very careful about having people jump in the gun and putting any type of pressure. It's like, no, he's right where he needs to be. Not ahead of schedule. When he needs to be there.
Where I want to be on February 21st to make my Dodgers debut on March 20th in Korea. I'm exactly where I want to be.
Yeah, and he also gave an update on his dog. What did Plunkett say? He did a great job.
Plunkett said it in Japanese, and I don't want to butcher it.
You know what
He definitely
we'll
said
practice on that's what's going to separate the media for the next 10 years. Who are the first of the U.S. media that are going to be able to master the Japanese language? That's how you're going to get.
I'm not going to try it, but he asked him how his dog was, and Shohei said, he's good.
He's good. Decoy is good.
Very good.
And I want to say this, too. Look, we get down to Arizona. Last week, I'm just glued to my phone, my laptop, watching all these BPs, seeing 10 home runs and 21 at-bats, 50 home runs. And we get here today, and it's the first live BP we see.
And we're so excited.
So amped, so excited. I mean, the anticipation is off the charts.
I'm filming everything with every at-bat.
We're shaking, filming stuff, thinking we're going to get he took, what was it, 6 pitches?
6 pitches, just took them all.
And then the next at-bat.
Just ground balls.
And
then he just walks out of the field. I'm like, where are you going? I'm like, Shohei.
Walks and then he starts to run.
I'm like, Shohei, where's the home run? I'm sitting here waiting for the home run.
Come on now.
The only one we got was Manuel Margot. Shout out Manuel Margot. He got a good swing on that. We talked to him about the home run. We talked about how he's doing this offseason. But it was a Shohei home run. I thought it was like a lock that he hits a home run every time he goes up there. I thought that was like an easy, okay, he's going to hit a home run today. Like, it's coming.
Yeah, no, if I started the show with the Dodgers offseason acquisition hits a home run today, it's Manuel Margot. Right? I mean, you'd probably been a little shocked about that, but really that was the only takeaway. I'm seeing Daniel Hudson kind of come off the mound, a little frustrated by that, but all the greats are. I mean, all the greats are frustrated, always want to excel, but I thought it was really cool, too. Just kind of one more takeaway, just that kind of pops in my mind is James Outman and Ohtani. I think there's something there as far as their connection. I mean, we heard Bill Plunkett talk a little bit about James Outman and Ohtani and just knowing a couple phrases in Japanese and how cool that is. And yeah, I mean, I've seen multiple videos. They're stretching, they're warming up together, lots of smiles, and there was a lot of talk inside that clubhouse. So, and a lot of talk right in that dugout right there for
the next new great Dodgers bromance. I mean, James Outman with the long locks. I mean, everyone knows that Shohei's a good-looking guy. That might be the next great bromance for the Dodgers.
Bromance buddy cop movie. I see it, man.
I think that could be a lot of fun. 2 lefties mashing home runs this year. I think that could be a lot of fun for the Dodgers.
Out mania, Ohtani mania. I mean, it would be special. But last thing tomorrow. We got a game. We got
Dodgers
Padres.
Dodgers baseball in. I'll do some quick math here. About 15 hours.
15 hours.
Maybe 14.
I think the number one thing you're looking for, I think, is...
Well, let's start with saying stay healthy.
Stay healthy,
I mean,
really.
Gavin Lux going back for the first time. Let's stay healthy tomorrow.
I think it's going to be a big day for Gavin Lux. I mean, I'm hoping that he has the same... Not even just playing defense. He always wanted to see
he runs the bases.
Runs the bases and makes that turn.
I want him to make that turn. I want him to slide through home knowing that he made that turn, feeling really good about it. But, I mean, it's a really big day for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little choked up kind of being back at that stadium, a little under a year after this really horrific incident that happened to him.
Absolutely, because look, I mean, like Dave said today, it's going to be a mental hurdle. The mental hurdle for them to go over it. And anytime these guys, look, baseball injuries from Tommy Johns and shoulder injuries and, of course, knee injuries, and really go to a lot of different sports. But it takes time. It takes work. I mean, you have to grind through it. A lot of lonely days. I remember talking to Gavin Lux last year during his rehab process, talking about, hey, I'm in a hotel watching my team alone and that kind of stuff, right?
Hard.
I mean,
It's hard.
to make it back the way he has and the opportunity that he has in front of him. Look, Ohtani's made his money. He's won his MVPs. Needs a World Series for sure. Mookie's made his money. He's won MVP. Freddie, the same thing. You can make the case that no Dodger has a bigger opportunity in front of them this year than Mr. Gavin Lux. Because if Gavin Lux can prove this season that he can be the long-term solution at shortstop, he can prove that he can be an above-average bat that even plays average defense, he's going to make himself a ton of money, possibly $200 million one day in a contract. And look, I think the concerns I have, not necessarily concerns, but things I want him to prove to me, the agility, the range, the throw, the arm. And look, as much as I support Gavin Lux, I am the conductor of the Gavin Lux Hype Train. I'm a card-carrying member of the Gavin Lux fan club, but still, I need to see it, and this is the first year that he truly, hopefully, gets that opportunity at short and stays healthy, and we can see what he can do.
Yeah, the thing that makes me the happiest with Lux is that, the Dodgers have stood by him through this entire rehab process, through a whole year. They very easily could have gone and traded for a shortstop last year, especially when they had all the injuries and they had Mookie Betts filling in at shortstop, and they easily could have made a move. But they knew what they had in Lux. They knew that they wanted him to have that opportunity. And here he is. He goes through the horrific injury, really unfortunate. But a year later, he's in the exact same position he was in last year with the Dodgers starting shortstop just right in front of him for the taking. He has the opportunity to take it. And tomorrow is, in my opinion, the last big hurdle he has to face because he's already done everything. He fields ground balls. He runs the base. He does all that. What he hasn't done is, one, play in a live game, and two, go back to that field. I mean, he has not gone there, since, at least
it's a very psychological
it's all psychological
tomorrow.
And that, in my opinion, is the last hurdle that he needs to cross because physically he's there. He's been there. We've already heard him say he's there. But psychologically, that's a big hurdle. And, tomorrow is, in my opinion, the last hurdle. He gets through it, and now it's just a clear spring training for him to really just take off the training wheels and just kind of kick into it, knowing that he's the Dodgers' starting shortstop.
I agree 100%. I'm going to put us both on the spot one more time.
I love it.
How many home runs for Gavin Lux this season? 6. Last time we saw him in a full season. He has told me he wants to hit for more power. He's added muscle. He's hit 2 this offseason. I'm going 17 for Luxy.
I got 13.
You got 13?
I got 13. I was going to say 14. 13 or 14.
I think the juice ball back this year.
I think he's going to be in the low to mid teens. I think it's going to be awesome. I think he's going to, for me, it's before he goes down with the neck injury in 2022, he was hitting like 292, like 800 OPS. He was doing everything for the Dodgers. Yes. I just want to see him continue to get the ball in play, continue to draw the walks, continue to, hopefully, if those knees are feeling good, steal bases, show off that speed. He was up there in sprint speed. I forget exactly where. He was up there in sprint speed. So I'd love to kind of just see that Gavin Lux come back. The power will come. But yeah, if he hits double-digit home runs, drives in, 50, 60 RBI, but he's just getting on base, hitting 290, just, OBP up there. He's just kind of getting on base for this team. In the 9-hole, he'll score a lot of runs. He can score over 100 runs this year with, Mookie, Freddie, and Shohei kind of hitting right after him.
Yeah, I agree. I think you bring up a great point there at the end is Mookie, Freddie, and Shohei hitting after him. I think for a lot of teams out there, it wouldn't be the best situation if you're a bottom feeder team because Gavin Lux would be the top storyline for you, right?
He'd be your leadoff hitter.
He'd be your leadoff hitter. He'd be the guy that would sell tickets, hopefully, that you would sell your organization for. He can kind of hide in this Dodgers lineup. They don't necessarily need him to go crazy to put together one of the best offenses. So I think this is actually almost a soft landing for him to come back and contribute.
Yeah.
But
same thing in terms of the speed in 2022. He had 6 home runs. He had 7 triples. This guy was flying around the base.
That's the thing. He brings a speed dynamic that they missed too. So the speed dynamic really. And look, I see his comment right here. This is from JC. So cool. And he says, not sold on Lux. Look, I don't think any of us are completely sold on Lux. I think if you're rational... trust me, I'm test driving, though. And I want to drive this off the lot, but we need to see it. He needs to prove it.
And he knows
it. Thank you. He knows it. He knows it. But we're going to end on some comments here.
The only thing I want to say is Lux wants to prove it more than anyone else wants to see him prove it. This guy wants to prove to himself that he's full.
Let's say it together.
100% healthy.
It's every baseball player's dream to play the shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We just nailed that one.
I mean, that's unison right there. I mean, we spent a lot of time the last 2 days together.
So a couple comments here. Here's your predictions for Lux on the home runs.
I want to hear some of these.
BC says 20.
20
for BC.
If Lux hits 20 home runs.
Does he go to Balco or?
I don't know what that means.
That's where Bonds juice stuff.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, if he hits 20 home runs, he might be an all-star team. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
for sure.
Especially if you front-load some of those. I mean, he might be a backup shortstop.
20, I would love to. I'd take 20 over the next 2 years.
I mean,
but we got
20 would be something else.
Hepatitis Steelers is 17.
Yeah, 17 is a great number.
Roy Strauss is over under Muncie makes an error or hits it. BC 20 home runs, 100.
I'll take the home run on Muncie.
EZ_Ghost 13. D-Max Lux will hit 18 home runs. We got casinos have room. Jackie says 11. Necro 99 says 14.
I mean, here's one thing. All these are double digits. Again, he had 6 in 2022. He had 7 the year before. All these are double digits. So I think everyone kind of expects a little power jump for Lux. I think he expects it again. He's hit 2 bombs in live BP this year already.
Yeah, and I think this person definitely going to watch the show. Mr. Classic says, "Yup, give Lux a chance. If not, you know who we are going for." Okay,
I'm gonna go with
we talked about Willie Adames on the show for a couple years now.
We got a friend of the show right now.
Yeah, we got the Don't Need Adames when we have Miggy Rowe. Look, think about Miggy Rowe, and I've talked to Gomes about this.
Yeah, you talked to Gomes yesterday.
The depth that he provides and the versatility. I don't think. Look, he did what he did last year out of necessity, and then Mookie played some short. And you saw guys mix up. Chris Taylor can still play some short. He's a very athletic player. I think the true value out of Miggy Rowe is, look, if you haven't been starting shortstop, he can't be a late game sub for a Max Muncy or some other players out there. The versatility that he provides. So, look, I think Miguel Rojas too. You look at his age. It's not easy for guys at that age to stay 100% healthy playing that position. It's a very physically demanding position, but. That's it over this episode.
Really quick, jump in. Quick thing on Chris Taylor. I just want to say one thing for those who haven't seen Chris Taylor. He's been taking ground balls at second base this year. Now, obviously, Mookie Betts is second baseman, but it's just interesting that he's not with the outfielders. I mean, they're working on the infield. Obviously, he's played a lot of outfielders and need to work out there. But when they split up outfield and infield, Chris Taylor's been at second base for at least the last week that I've seen him there. So interesting that they're warming it up in the infield. Obviously, they trust his outfield stuff, but they also have a plethora of outfielders right now. So. Chris Taylor might see a lot more infield this year. Maybe here's the crux. Here's the rub on Chris Taylor is that he does not put pressure on himself to be tied to a certain position. He just bides his time, knowing that it's a long season. He's going to get his opportunities, and the reality is he can play through injuries. He's a gamer. He can play banged up, so he's getting his opportunities. And look, he's even said that he feels more engaged when there's a possibility of playing in the infield and the outfield, where he's been pretty much locked into the outfield spots for the last couple of seasons. But that's going to do for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. If you guys haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you are eligible for our next giveaway, the Yoshinobu Yamamoto giveaway at 85,000 subs. We're going to give it away. So be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel in the game. Drop a comment down below. We want all your spring training takes. Drop your takes on the Will Smith extension, on Gavin Lux, everything you want to see during spring training. Also, give good my man, Mr. Noah Cameras, a follow. I'm almost at 6,000.
Almost at 6,000.
You got to get me there. I'm so close.
Let's get into 1 million by this weekend, guys. So go follow him over on the X at Noah Cameras. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. Until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and we're out.